Okay, hi everybody. My name's Allison with Teriyaki Madness. I have Lindsay from the development team here with me. Jason and Missy are multi-unit franchisees in Virginia, and we're going to be asking them some questions today. So with that, I'll get started. And for Jason and Missy, feel free to both answer the question, go back and forth. If one feels more comfortable answering it, go for it. But first, an easy one. Can you introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Missy, owner-operator of 3 restaurants in state of Virginia.
Jason Doyle, operator, Teriyaki Madness. What is it, 3 years now, I think?
Yeah, since 2023.
Awesome. Can you take us back to your pre-TMAD restaurant days? What were your roles and what made you finally say, I'm ready to do this for myself?
Background's been McDonald's restaurants. Started as a kid just needing some gas money, trying to figure out what to do with life, and couldn't really figure that out and just moved up the ladder over time. Became a general manager at a very young age. Developed into an area supervisor, regional manager, director of operation for different owners. Came to a point where it was time for me to do my own thing, and the path was not there for us to become McDonald's operators, and we ended up finding a relationship with Teriyaki Madness, and we've been having fun ever since.
Wonderful. And Missy, what about your background pre-TMAD and what made you ready to do this?
So McDonald's too for over 30 years, started as crew, worked way up to supervisor, and that's where I met Jason. And he came home one day and he said, I'm ready to own something. And I said, well, let's do it. So we hired a recruiter kind of to give us some ideas. And Teriyaki Madness was on there, and we went from there.
Awesome. Yeah, I know you have a long history in the restaurant business, and I
Yeah.
love that that's where you both met.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. When you guys started looking at franchises, did you have any criteria or requirements that you looked for in a franchisor?
Yeah, we wanted to stick with food. That's what we knew. We're in the people business, and it's all about inspiring others to do more, want more, and become more in our field. So we wanted to stick in that field where we're dealing with interacting with people, and food just kind of resonates with us. So that's where we wanted to stay, is kind of in that lane that we already had a background in. So we're not trying to have to figure more out than what we already had as a foundation.
Awesome. And what would you say has been the biggest difference between running a restaurant for someone else and doing your own business? What surprised you the most?
The amount of paperwork you have to do to set up the business was insane. Setting up your corporation, business licenses, those type of things. The other parts I'm familiar with running it for somebody else. So I was already doing all those aspects. The only thing I was the setting up the corporation, setting up, some of those things in the very beginning was time consuming, and that's not my strong suit. So, it was slower for me to do it. It took me longer than somebody else that is more an administrative person. I'm not. I'm the guy that rolls up the sleeves and, we're making bowls or grilling chicken. I'm that guy.
And so when you kind of moved into the world of ownership, what kind of support did you get from TMAD that mattered most? Because you already had a lot of experience in how to run restaurants, good people skills, building teams, cooking the food the right way, speed to customer. But what kind of support was helpful for you when you came into TMAD?
So I've never negotiated leases. I've never found places to lease. I never had that kind of, background at all. I was lost. And so Teriyaki Madness facilitated a lot of that. They helped that. The nice thing is also when we started the process, they gave us a check sheet of, okay, you have to do this week, you're supposed to do this week, and this, and then you met with a coach. We weren't the individuals that had to be coached along saying, hey, have you done X, Y, and Z yet? No, that's all done. Everything was done. So when we had our meetings, it was like 5 minutes. It was like, hey, how you doing? See, everything's done. Do you need anything from us? All right, we'll talk to you in a week. So, but having that check sheet really gave us the structure on the part of opening the restaurant and getting us going, which made it very streamlined and easy to do. The lease negotiations, we worked with a young lady that was, she was a Rottweiler. She was great. She pushed hard, really got us a better deal than what I thought. I was like, hey, we're good. Let's take this. And she's like, let me push a little harder. I think we can do a little bit better. And in turn, I'm thankful for it because it made things later in the process when you needed some more cash or you needed a little bit lower of a rent better. And having that background of somebody knowing what's going on in the environment, knowing what's transpiring in that world, knows, hey, how hard can I push this or when I should back off because we're going to lose the space. So.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I really liked was that we did an interview with Michael, and I've never heard of anybody actually meeting, the big top guy, and I thought that was very unique and comfortable meeting him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard that from a few different folks, but it is nice to, our C-suite is involved and there and ready to listen. I mean, you have everybody's number on the entire home office staff if you need to get a hold of any of us, whether that's, Michael or the front desk, so.
Yeah.
And then so that was kind of support more on the pre-opening side. Post-opening, again, I know you guys are veterans in this industry, but was there maybe any support that you ended up needing that surprised you?
No, not really. The support was there if we needed it,
Mm-hmm.
but we really didn't. We did the first restaurant when we rolled out. The next one, we rolled it out and it was open and up and running, and we didn't have anybody, come visit the restaurant after we opened it for quite some time, which was fine. I mean, we knew the standard of what we needed to do. We knew what was entailed. We knew what needed to be upheld, and I think also on top of that, we were doing well with our other restaurants. So why was the need there? And it wasn't. But I was asked, hey, do you need us? And it was, no, we're fine. We got to, continue to push our staff, continue to train and develop our new staff. We're new out of the box, but having one more person standing there staring at somebody else doing their job, just really, we didn't need that. So.
Mm-hmm.
How has the sales mix with TMAD been? Within McDonald's, you're usually expecting people to come up to the drive-through and then they're leaving, so it's very outside the four walls. So with TMAD and the catering and the delivery and the pickup mix, how has that been, and has that surprised you at all?
Less stressful. It's streamlined.
Very less stressful.
You don't have all these reports that are coming at you where you have to be out the food by this time, or the drive-through times, or how many cars you're getting through a drive-through an hour. There's no hard push for different things there because you're not something that's so big it's trying to get to the next level. You're something that's obtainable, and the hours of operation are easy, and basically once you get the doors open, you get situated, then you need to start looking at how do I grow my business, with marketing, local store marketing. Do I need to adjust my store hours outside of what the criteria of the franchise agreement is? So, and you have that ability to extend those hours. You have the ability to do well with catering and push that area. So then instead of having a restaurant that's, typically lunch, dinner, if you're doing with catering and those type of things, now you really have a restaurant that's a 3-day part because you're in there in the morning, you're working on getting those caterings ready, and then you end up, having a restaurant that's 3-day parts. If you have the ability for late night hours, you can extend those hours and take advantage of those. So you have that potential. And then needless to say, you only have the really two main focal points. You have the guests that are walking in and taking care of those, or then you have the third party delivery system. We get plenty of notice on the orders. Those are like super easy. You got enough time to make those orders. to get them out. The orders are always ready for our drivers. We don't have drivers ever waiting, so they love us. We don't have a driver problem where drivers are going, oh, Teriyaki Madness, now I'm not going to take their order because I can't get on the road right away. The drivers are happy with us. They always select our orders. They take them right away, so we don't have that problem. And we're able to really focus and push that part.
If you could go back and talk to yourself, let's say 20, 30 years ago, when you were working at McDonald's and worrying about those drive-through times, what's something you would tell yourself about the journey you were about to take with TMAD?
Jump in the deep end of the pool. Get away from that salary that you become hostage to. That's probably the scariest part. I mean, when I got to the level of mid-management with McDonald's, making really decent money, and I had a stable salary that I knew that check was going to be in my bank account, every week, regardless of if the sales are up or down or how the organizations were doing or markets. As an owner, you don't have as much of that, and it's kind of scary in the beginning. But hindsight, I should have done this not 20 years ago, but 30 years ago. I should have done this when I was in my 20s. I should have started, getting my grasp down. And once I learned how to manage people and run a business, at age 25, that's when I should have started looking at this. But I got caught up in that corporate comfort zone and really just got to break away from that I guess that parachute or that comfort zone of that salary. And once I did that, that would have been good, because who knows where I would be at with Teriyaki Madness if I would have done this 20 plus years ago. So
I think we'd have more than 3 stores.
Actually, when we spoke with Marlon earlier today, he had a similar statement that it's stressful because you want to change and you want to do these new things, but you do have these golden handcuffs that are holding you back, and it's really just figuring out how can I make that next move and know that I got support on my side, and all my grit and my perseverance and all the things that I've worked so hard for before this.
Yeah.
I think what I should have done was, in my 20s, screwed up really bad and someone fired me. And then I would have had to do something different, but that didn't happen. So
Yeah, you didn't have the forced exit where you could
That's right.
build your next step.
Yeah, that's right. Needed a little push.
Yeah, for sure. Just a couple more questions. What's one thing that you both can do now as an owner that you weren't able to do when you were, supervisor, manager level?
I'm the owner. I can do whatever I want. What are you talking about? Right. I like the part like decision making. Like, I don't have to get permission from anybody to do what I want, as long as I'm not like coloring outside the lines where I'm doing something to damage the brand. But, we want to do some marketing. We did some stuff with, a fishing tournament. We get to choose where those dollars were. We're talking about doing some marketing for the Lightfoot location. We're picking a radio station that we want to pick. So those things. The ice machine is basically about done at the Virginia Beach store. So I get to make the decision on what ice machine I want to get, how much I want to spend, when do I want to do it. So I have those decisions that I get to make, and I like that freedom where I'm not having to come up with plan A, B, C on an ice machine, present it to somebody, then they tell me, well, I don't like those options, give me a different option. I have to come back with another option to somebody else versus me going, this is the best damn option. Let's do this, so now I can do what I want, with those things when it makes sense for my teams, for my people, and for the restaurant and the business. So we have flexibility where, if something comes up, I'm able to change things around easier with my schedule. So we do a schedule up every week. We plan our weeks out. We don't just wake up in the morning, drink a cup of coffee, going, what am I going to do today? So we plan everything out. But the nice thing is I don't have to present that to somebody. I don't have to make sure that's okay with somebody. I get to make those decisions on which restaurant I want to work at, what am I going to focus in on, what are our top priorities, those type of things.
Mm-hmm. And since you guys both, you're both very involved in this, how do you guys try and separate and go to different shops, work on different things? What does that look like?
Oh yeah, we Jason might be at Virginia Beach, I'm at Lightfoot. The next day I'm at Hampton and he's at Lightfoot, so we definitely split it up. So the staff sees us at least 3 to 4 times a week. Sometimes we'll go to 2 stores in one day. Might spend a couple hours here and then maybe 4 hours at another restaurant. So we definitely split things up.
And do you have GMs at each restaurant, or how do you?
Oh, absolutely.
So you've got somebody that's over there. They're the ones in charge when you're not there.
Correct.
Yeah,
Or when you're there.
And we set it up where our general managers are empowered to make decisions. They don't have to pick up the phone and call us. They're not micromanaged. We just ask them to, run things by us after the fact, and then we can talk about it. Hey, next time maybe we should do this, or hey, great job, kudos, keep rolling. So yeah, we have general managers. I like the buffer. If you had one restaurant, then no problem at all. We'd be the GMs, or even if we had 2. But when you have multiple restaurants, once you get 3rd level, you need that buffer where the staff on the day-to-day basis can go to a general manager and get those questions asked. Because I can't take, 65 phone calls from 65 different personality people. I can take 3, one from each store from a different general manager, but that many people, it's that. But we also have it set up where we respect the general manager's time off. They do a schedule up. They let us know what days they're off. We don't bother them when they're off. We make sure we document, what's going on, or write something down, and when they come to work the next day, that's when we call them. So our general managers don't feel stressed out. We also have them set up where they have an assistant manager, and they typically work on the day the general manager's off. So they get that quality of life too. They're happy, and that's why we're successful, is because our people are happy and they're successful.
That's awesome. I love that. Okay, any final thoughts? So again, if for people that were in your shoes that are currently maybe looking, they've managed, they've supervised, they've worked their way up in whatever restaurant or restaurant group that is for years and years, or less, maybe 5, they do it at 25. What kind of final thoughts do you have for them on that making that leap?
It's obviously it's a little scary in the beginning, but it's so well worth it. After we've been with our first shop, after about 3 months, I told Missy, I said, this is the best thing we've ever done. This is the best decisions we've ever made. And we've had some challenging moments in the restaurant business, but that's just the grind of the restaurant business. I mean, it's not going to be perfect every day, but there's a lot more good days than there are bad. Let me tell you that. There is a lot more rewarding days, and at the end of the day, we're having fun and we're doing well successfully and financially. So that's huge, and we're building something that's going to give us peace of mind and potentially really just moving things in the right direction for everyone.
You just have to take a chance. It'll be worth it in the end.
It's totally fair.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you both so much for taking 20 minutes with us and answering all these questions. I just want to tell you we're very thankful, and these were really very insightful things to hear from you, since you guys are boots on the ground, and this is the world that you've known for so many years. So it's good to hear it from right from the horse's mouth, they say. Okay, thank you. Have a good day, everyone.